I bought the cheapest working 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro I could find on eBay. Shopping for used MacBooks on eBay can be tricky business. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys what I bought, how I found it, and some simple tricks that you guys can do to ensure that you're getting a good deal on a MacBook that will last a long time. So to start this video, I wanted to see just how cheap I could get a 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro to be. The prices for these Retinas are starting to come down now that they are beginning to age. Most pre-2016 Retinas are below the $1,000 mark, save for a few well-equipped 2015 models that still command a $1,200 to $1,300 price tag with pretty top-of-the-line specs. So for this video, I decided to go all the way down to the bottom ladder, and I set my budget for a working 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro at $550 or less, because that's how much was in my PayPal account when I decided to make this. And with my budget set, I decided to go hunting. So regardless of which MacBook Pro you buy, they all offer a fantastic platform for expanding your digital skill set. And here to help with that is today's video sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform with classes in graphic design, video editing, photography, and so much more. Check out Skillshare in the description below, and I'll have a coupon code to give you guys 2 free months of Skillshare Premium. So go ahead and check that out. Now, to find the cheapest MacBook Pro, I needed to set up some criteria. So the main one was that I wanted something that was low risk and functional. While you can definitely save some money by buying something that's a little rough around the edges and then fixing it up, for the purposes of this video, I wanted something that was going to be solid and would work right out of the box. And I don't want any trade-offs like significant cosmetic damage, delaminated displays, speaker issues, battery issues, little mysterious bugs and glitches, none of that. Eventually, I found a few MacBook Pros that fell under that $550 price cap, and I'll be perfectly honest, most of them were train wrecks. This one from Canada was very cheap, just $380, but it looked as though it had been through a wood chipper. The display looked awful, and the seller reported that most of the keycaps were collapsing. Then I found another one that came in at $500 that looked good, until I looked closer and noticed that it had a massive frame-bending gouge in the side of the computer. After filtering through a whole lot of crap, I found a listing for $540 or best offer that looked really promising. I offered $500 and the seller accepted. So my total cost was $513 and change with shipping costs, and here's the proof, because for some reason people think that I make up the prices when I do these videos. So, what I ended up with is a mid-2012 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro with some pretty decent specs considering how cheap it was. Mine is the higher of the 2 tiers that Apple offers for the 15-inch Pros, so it comes with the upgraded 2.6 GHz Core i7, 8 gigs of RAM, an upgraded 1/2 TB SSD, and the NVIDIA GT 650M graphics. This was starting to look like a really promising little machine, so I filmed my unboxing experience. Alrighty, it is time for another MacBook. So, here we go. So from the description, this said that it was in its original box, and sure enough, ooh-wee. This is actually very nicely packed, considering that this was the cheapest MacBook Pro on eBay at the time. Oh man, these packing peanuts are gonna be absolutely everywhere though. So there it is, the original MacBook Pro in its original box. Alright, so let's hop in. And there she is. You missed the tabs, because it's obviously been taken out of the plastic, as you would expect for a 7-year-old laptop. But anyway, so there we have the machine itself. Put that off to the side. Sadly, it appears we have lost the packet of Apple stickers and instruction manuals to the endless void of space and time. So we'll have to make do without that. We got a charger extension. I have like a million of these. I'm not going to take that out because I already have one of these chargers plugged in, so I'll just leave that alone. Let's crack into the main course, which is the 2012 Retina MacBook Pro. You can see over here is my 2013 So we're gonna leave that one alone there because this is the OG. And this is in outstanding condition. I mean, I knew it was gonna be good from the pictures, but this is pretty much as good as it gets. I am not seeing anything. This thing is flawless. It's completely perfect. Wow. That's amazing. All right, let's open it up, see if there's anything going on the inside. Okay, so it clearly hasn't been cleaned. I'll get some shots of that because this is remarkably dirty. Granted, I think part of what happens if you get a MacBook Pro on eBay and you open it up and it's dirty, I think part of what happens is, you know, stuff goes under the keyboard as you would expect. This thing is almost 7 years old, keep in mind. So there's probably been some stuff in the keyboard, and during shipping, it all kind of comes out and makes a mess. But we'll make sure to clean this up nice and good. Let's go ahead and turn it on. All right, keyboard backlight coming on. The display looks pretty even. I don't see any uneven areas in the backlight here. As promised, it is a very fresh installation of macOS Mojave. It hasn't even been set up yet, so I'll go ahead and do that. All right, so everything is in. We're all set up. I'm pretty impressed with this, to be perfectly honest. I'll go more into the condition and sort of physical appearance of this thing once I get into the main part of this video, but as of right now, my first impressions are very, very positive. So I'm very, very pleased with how this has turned out. I'm gonna clean this up and we'll jump back into the normal video now. As you can see, I was really amazed by the condition of this machine for being so cheap relative to other MacBooks. It really was impressive. Upon further inspection, the only cosmetic flaws with the device are some wear around the MagSafe port, a tiny nick on the back of the display, one on the top of the lid near the Apple logo, a little bit of minor wear to the keycaps, and that's pretty much it. Absolutely astonishing. This computer is 6 years old and it looks brand new. My next step with the machine was to make sure everything was working under the hood. I recommend this for anyone purchasing a used computer to check for any funny business, sketchy repairs, water damage, and the like. So the first thing that you want to do is take a look at the screws on the bottom, because if they look kind of stripped or, you know, like there's little metal shavings around the actual screw holes there, then you can tell that the machine has been opened, and somewhat poorly at that. However, this machine looks very, very clean. I don't see any issues around the screws. Okay, so with all the screws out, it is time to open it up. Oh, crikey, crikey. So that is why I do this, because this thing does not look like it has been opened or cleaned ever. It's just, I mean, look, you can see the dust where my fingers were holding the back case. This thing is an absolute mess. So there you have it. I mean, look at the size of these dust bunnies here. These are just monsters. Look at the size of the dust bunny that's trapped inside of this fan housing here. You can just pull it with your fingers. It's just, woo! How is air going to be getting through when there's that much dust caked up around it? So this is why you definitely want to open up a computer that you receive. So what I'm going to do for the next probably half hour or so is take my little brush here, and I'm going to go through, and I'll show you what I do here. I'll just kind of clean out the blades of the fan. You can see just simply touching it like that is making a huge difference, dislodging a lot of that dust so that we can get this thing running a lot smoother. So this is what it looks like after just a few minutes of going at it with my little brush here and some little pliers to pull out this absolute chungus of a dust bunny that was in each of the heat sinks over here. So you can see how much different it looks. It's so much better. You can see the fan blades are all clear. The heat sinks are all clear. There's no giant dust buildups on the board. Now, the next thing you want to do after all this cleaning has taken place is examine the liquid damage sensors. There are a couple of these all around the board. There's one over there, clean. There's one down there, clean. There's one on this side of the battery, one on this side of the battery. They're kind of sprinkled all over the place, so you just want to check those to make sure that they all look good. This computer looks absolutely immaculate. There's no sign of any liquid damage, no funny business going on under here. And now that it's all nice and clean, this thing should be running like brand new again. At this point, I just want to emphasize how important it is to open up a used MacBook Pro, even if it's one that you bought new and have just had for a while, and clean it out. This thing was seriously nasty inside. So much so that when I was setting up the machine and downloading apps, I noticed it getting warmer than I would expect, without the fans really spinning up at all. This is your best clue that there are some dust issues with your device, and sure enough, I saw idle temperatures drop from 71 degrees Celsius down to 52 after my cleaning. And that's just about one of the simplest things you can do to improve performance. One of the other things that I definitely recommend doing when you purchase a used MacBook, especially a MacBook Pro Retina that has a battery that's adhered to the top case, is to check on the status and health of the battery. So to do this, I downloaded a battery health app from the App Store, many of which are available. This revealed that my battery is in really good shape. It has about 350 cycles and is operating at 92% of its original capacity. This is very, very good for a 6-year-old machine. You can also see from this tab that the battery was manufactured on February 28th, 2013. Just before my MacBook was manufactured in March of 2013, as revealed by a handy tool that uses your serial number to determine the manufacture date, which I'll have linked below. So what all of this inspection ultimately tells me is that my MacBook Pro is all original. There is no evidence that this computer has ever been opened, which means that it hasn't needed any repairs, it hasn't been modified, it hasn't been fiddled with at all. I like to see this in a used computer because it means that it's led a stable, uneventful life. It's likely that this computer was purchased and spent its entire life on someone's desk without any issues along the way. Eventually, about 6 years later, the owner decided that it was getting old and slow and was running hot all the time, and that it was time to just sell it and move on to a new machine, likely without even realizing that the only issue he was having with this machine not performing that well was the fact that there was so much dust built up inside of it. This is pretty much the dream scenario if you're looking for a used MacBook Pro, someone who doesn't quite know too much about technology and was a pretty light user of their computer. So when you are looking for a used MacBook Pro, this is definitely something that you should look out for. So this isn't the last that you're going to see of this Retina MacBook Pro, because it is of course the original MacBook Pro, which turned 7 this year. So I'll have a video coming up about how the original MacBook Pro holds up in 2019, and that'll go more in detail about the performance and the functionality of this computer, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And as usual, make sure to like and comment. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Miani, and I will see you guys in the next video.